everyone, and welcome to episode 1 of the Cherry Bakewell Diaries. Last week I did the introduction, and I just wanted to give a big shout out to all those people who give me feedback. I've had such a lot of lovely feedback. It was a very difficult thing for me to do. It was very sad, but I had to give a true and accurate story of the sort of backstory of how I got started. And although it was sad, it was an accurate story. So, and I just wanted to show that whatever anxieties you've got, yes, it's hard. I know it's hard, but you can overcome them. With willpower, you can overcome it, and by keeping yourself busy and finding interests, it does help. I'm not saying it makes it better, but it does help. And that's how I've coped, basically, by just finding a little bit of fun in life and just keeping active, basically, and keeping busy. So the first story that I wanted to share with you today, I just got a couple of funny stories that happened over the years. I mean, there's many stories, as you can imagine. Lots and lots of people that I've catered for, a couple of celebrities as well, which I'll tell you about. But yeah, a couple of really funny stories. And the first one is when I first started, I did a funeral for a lady in a local village, and she was a very elderly lady, lived a very good life, and she was like the pillar of the community. So it was going to be a very big funeral, and it was held in the local village where she lived, in the church. Now, we were told there was going to be 120 people at the funeral, but the church wasn't very big. So we were doing the food and the catering from a barn, which was right next door to the church. So we go in there and we start setting up the buffet and putting all the glasses out for the drinks. And we noticed that there was a table set up that had like an altar at the top. And I looked at my relative that was helping me. I thought, oh, that's a bit strange. Maybe it's just they're going to put some photographs or something out, you know. Then we noticed like a microphone they were setting up, and I thought, this is a bit odd. Well, anyway, we were getting set up, and the only water supply was from outside in the yard. So we had to go outside, fill a kettle, bring it back in, boil the kettle, and then we had a big tea urn that we were doing the tea from. We had to keep filling it up with the kettle. So it took a long time, very long process. And a bit like today, it was throwing it down with rain. You could probably hear the rain outside. It was throwing it down with rain and windy and not a very nice day. So anyway, we got that all set up. We started laying the food out and the glasses, and we had to pour sherry out into the glasses. And then we started noticing that some of the guests were arriving in the barn. And then more and more came, and I thought, this is a bit odd. And we realised what was happening. They were, because they couldn't all fit in the church, they were relaying the service from the church into the barn. So basically we were in the service, we was at the funeral. So it's very difficult trying to get everything set up and not make a noise. It was really hard. It was a lovely funeral, it really was, very dignified, it was very nice, but it was just very difficult. And then halfway through, we were, as I say, we were putting all the glasses out. It was probably towards the end actually of the service. We started pouring out the sherry in the glasses, so they were all ready for when they would finished. And my cousin sort of nudged me and said, "Oh, look up there." And we looked up, and the roof was leaking. It was leaking, and the rain was coming in, and it was dripping into the sherry. It was, I mean, it sounds funny now, but it wasn't at the time, because we had to move all the glasses, move them out the way, re-pour them and get them all set up again. But trying not to laugh, I mean, it was a very solemn occasion. It was a very nice, dignified funeral, but to actually look up and see, and you had to be so quiet, and to actually look up and see the roof leaking and dripping into the sherry, it was really, really funny. But yeah, that was quite an experience, that one. And that's one that I won't forget. And another story, my friend Michelle helped me, she'll remember this. We got asked to do a buffet for an agricultural meeting, which was on a farm. And we turned up. We had to wear boots, obviously, because it was, you're on a farmyard, it's going to be muddy and dirty. Turned up, and all we could hear was cows mooing, and it was quite an experience. So we went in this barn and got all set up, and of course it was another wet and windy day. I do pick the days, honestly. It was a wet and windy day, and we set up, and I didn't use my best tablecloths, because I just used paper tablecloths, because it was so dirty and muddy and smelly, and there was only farmers, so there was only having like a meeting sort of thing. So we put all our paper tablecloths out, laid everything up. Of course that was blowing, because the barn door was open, so that was blowing. All the paper tablecloths kept blowing. We had to keep putting things on it to hold it down. And then we had another incident with the water. This one we had to go outside again. We had like a hose pipe in the yard, and we had to fill the kettle up from this hose pipe, and then go back and fill it, and warm the heat the kettle, and then pour it into the tea, and similar to what we did at the funeral. So as you were going out to fill the hose pipe, you've got cows mooing, and you're walking in and out the cows, all in the barns, and it was just hilarious. It was so comical. But anyway, we went back in and put the kettle on, and we said to them we need an extension lead, obviously, to put the kettle on. They gave us this extension lead, turned it on, and it blew all the electrics in the barn. I don't quite know what had happened, but it blew all the electrics in the barn. So they had to go and get another extension lead. It was very, very funny. And then when the meeting started, we left all the food out, and we went and sat in the car, because we didn't want to sit in the meeting, obviously. So we went and sat in the car, and then once the rain stopped, we had a walk round, and we was talking to the cows, and it was quite a comical experience. But yeah, so I've had quite a few funny experiences over the years. Excuse me, having a drink. Yeah, quite a few funny experiences over the years. Back in 2015, I got nominated for an award, and it was something that I'd never experienced before, and it was a Kent Women in Business Award. One of my customers had nominated me for this award, so I filled in the forms and and managed to get into the final. Got all dressed up. It was a black tie event, and I took my friend with me, and I was so nervous, because I just didn't like things like that. I just didn't like large gatherings of people, especially with my anxiety. I found it really difficult. So anyway, we got all glammed up, and my friend said to me, "Oh, come on, we'll just go and enjoy it." Well, we went, and it was very awkward, sort of standing there looking at everybody, you know, and it was very, very, very scary. But then I noticed a friend of mine was there as well. She'd been nominated for an award as well. So that sort of broke the ice a little bit, having a chat with her. And anyway, we went into the awards, and all sat down and had our meal. It was a nice meal. champagne reception and everything. It was really, really nice. And it got to my award, and I was up for Mumpreneur of the Year, which was a category which was all about running a business with while having children as well, and sort of balancing the two. And anyway, I just sat there, and I'd had a few drinks by this time, and it got to reading the names out, and then they'd done the two runner-ups, and then they read the winner out, and they read my name, and I looked at my friend and I said, no, they've got that wrong. But they did. They read my name out, and I absolutely froze. I couldn't move. And she said, oh, come on, you've got to get up on the stage. Anyway, I got up on this stage, and I thought, what on earth do I say? So I just said thank you, and the first thing that came to my mind was, I just want to say thank you to my mum, because without my mum, I wouldn't be where I am today. And that was it. And I took this award, I went and sat down, and I was shaking so much. I just couldn't believe that I'd won. It was just the most amazing experience I'd ever had. To be nominated for one thing and then to actually win was quite a thing for me. And then in 2017, I got nominated again, and I was actually nominated for a couple of awards, and they read all the awards out, and I didn't get anything. I didn't win, but obviously I get a finalist certificate as well, you know, just for being a finalist, which I thought, oh, that's nice, you know. And at the end, the lady organised the awards. She said, don't go rushing off, although we've done all the awards, don't go rushing off, because we've got some special awards to give out. And I said to my friend, oh, we'll just drink our drinks and go. And she said, well, let's just hang on anyway. Well, they came to this award, and it was for the Inspired Achievement Award. And I thought, nah, won't get anything there. Well, she started reading, and she started reading like a story about this person. And I looked at my friend and I said, that sounds like me. And she sort of took hold of my arm, and she knew, and I said, no, it can't be. And the more she talked, the more I thought, oh my God, it's me. And then when I looked up, I saw, because they had a photographer there, and I saw they had a photographer, and she was looking directly at me and taking photographs, and I thought, oh my God. And do you know what? That was probably the most special award that I've ever won, because it was Inspired Achievement. It was inspired by my mum, because my mum inspired me to start up the catering business and do it. It was her inspiration that got me there. And to actually win that award, when she read my name out, oh my God, it was just unbelievable. And I'll never forget that. It was probably the most special award I've ever won, to be inspired by your mum, and then to be standing on that stage. I can honestly say I almost felt her standing next to me, patting me on the back, because it was her that got me up there, basically. If it hadn't been for her teaching me how to cook, I wouldn't have set up a catering business. I wouldn't have been where I am now. And to actually stand up on the stage, wow, it was immense. It really was. And I feel so proud of that day to win that award. And then again in 2021, I was nominated for Home-Based Business of the Year. And by this time, I'd sort of won a couple of awards. I thought, oh well, won't win any more now, that's it. And this was quite a special award, because it was Home-Based Business of the Year. So it was the one that I hadn't won, and I didn't think I'd ever would win it, to be honest. And lo and behold, they called my name out again, and I won Home-Based Business of the Year. So I just wanted to say to everyone out there who suffers with anxiety, it is really tough. And believe me, I know, because I've suffered with it over the years. But it just shows with determination and passion what you can achieve. If you really, really want to help to get through your anxiety, just push through, because it is really hard. And believe me, I honestly didn't think that I'd be able to win awards and stand on the stage and talk to people, and I never thought I'd be able to do that. That's just something I would shy away from, you know. But I've done it, and I got there, and I'm so proud. Um, and it really was an experience. So I've now got those 3 awards, and I'm as pleased as punch about them. I really am. And every time I look at them, I think about my mum and I smile, and I say thanks, mum, and she's got me through it. So you can do it. If you're suffering with anxiety, you can. If you can get through it, I promise you. It is tough. I know it is really tough. And there's times, I'll be honest, there's times when I've had to go shopping, and I've been in the supermarket and I've stood there and thinking, everybody's looking at me. I don't like it. And I just sort of go and hide somewhere. I don't like it. But you have to push through it. The more you push through it, the easier it will get. And the more things you do, the easier things will become. And I know that from experience. I know when I did my first wedding, we got wedding booked. It was the very first wedding I'd done, and my cousin was helping me, and I had to go and ask the bride something. And I said to my cousin, "Well, go and ask the bride." And she said, "No," she said, "that's something that you've got to do." She said, "You're the boss, you're the owner, you've got to do it." I said, "Oh no, I can't do that." She said, "You've got to do it." She said, "Pull yourself together, you've got to do it." And she made me go and do it. And yes, I was shaking, I was nervous, and I went bright red, but I did it. And then the next time I had to go and speak to someone, I did it. I wasn't quite so nervous, but I did it. And every time I did it after that, it got easier. And you have to really force yourself to do it. And it is tough, and you feel scared and you feel nervous, but you have to do it. So yeah, that's basically sort of a little bit of background about my catering experiences and what I've done over the years. And what I plan to do next week, I plan to do a recipe with you. Not quite sure what I'm going to do yet. Some sort of cake, probably. Maybe an apple cake or chocolate cake or something. I don't know yet. I haven't decided. But I will do a recipe next week and do that with you. I'll just film it in my kitchen and show you the end result. And no doubt my children will eat the end result as well. So, and I've also got my first interview. Don't know when we're going to do it yet, but I've got the lady booked. My 2 stories that I wrote, my 2 children's stories, children's books, shall I say, they was illustrated by a very lovely illustrator called Lara Karem, a lady who I found through Facebook, and she illustrated both my books for me, and she is a lovely lady, she really is. So I'm going to be interviewing her on how she got started in drawing, and all the different pictures that she's done, and basically her experience as an illustrator as well. So that would be quite nice. So I think next week we'll do a recipe, and then the following week we'll do the interview with Lara. So that might be quite interesting as well. And then after that, I don't know where we're going or what we're doing, but we'll just take it as it comes. So if any of you have got any suggestions of recipes that you'd like me to do, or things you'd like me to try, or if you've got any questions, please email me at cherrybakewellworld outlook.com. And I'll answer any questions if I can. I may not be able to, but I will certainly try. If you need any help or advice with any recipes that you've got, I will try and help you. But yeah, that's basically all for today. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's certainly been nice going back over the years with the funny stories that I've had. And yeah, we'll see you next week. So from me, we'll see you next week, and take care. Bye bye.